blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off. Good luck not getting killed.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday Night Thunder. For Race First, this is Matt Houston from Richmond Raceway here tonight, the 3/4 mile course there in Virginia. We've got over 20 drivers here tonight. We've got 23, in fact. That's our biggest grid of the year. In fact, yeah, it looks like we've got 23 coming up. Looks like we've got Chad Irvine, our winner from last week, out here. Thank you for joining us. So, shout out to Jason Owens, our admin here in the league. Twitter handle at CrizzleColts for organizing all of this. And of course, you can find us at Race First. And we always tweet out, if you tag us, your Twitch stream, that'll be up there. Will be retweeted. We've got qualifying underway, just about 2 minutes to go. Oyson Walsh, not at last week's race. He had some mechanical issues that prevented him from starting that race. But he is back here this week, and he is really fast. As you can see, he's got a 4/10 over the field, but we've got a few drivers that have not qualified yet, so somebody's out there. Let's see if we can figure out who this is. Watson. There we go. We've got Watson on the track. He was strong last week, too. And let's see where he goes. His first lap is put some P16. This will be a 2-lap qualifier. Lincoln Racing car. This is a familiar livery. If you've ever watched any of the races that we've covered, any one that has James Watson in the field, he runs this livery in just about everything he runs. So in practice, Walsh was also the top of the charts as well. So this is going to be really interesting. He missed out on last week, but he's found something. He's kind of the setup guru on the ovals in these cars. So we'll see if he can survive, though, as we have about 30 seconds left in the session here. And we'll get to our grid. I think we can probably safe to say our grid is square. I think we might have Soska's out there. He might have brushed the wall, though, from what I'm seeing. So let's go through the grid, because we've got a big grid. I'm the only one in the booth here tonight. So let's start going through the grid here. Tuesday Night Thunder here from Richmond Raceway. Oyson Walsh with a 17.881. I was looking, the track record is a 15.3 by Sam Hornish Jr. And we have Wes Shire there in P2, James Curtis in P3, Kevin Smalley in P4, Ardman there in P5, Simon Fell in P6, Chad Irvine in our winner from last week in P7, Mike Gossler in P8, Ray Kingsbury was strong last week, has finished second. He's been strong in every race. A little bit farther back from him, that's going to be interesting to see. Starting in P9, Richard Hale, P10, Christian Jasper, P11, Christopher Graham Jr. in P12, Robert Gamble, P13, raced with Robert in the Tuesday Night Friday event on last Friday. J. William Walker, newcomer this week in P14. Patrick Byrne, P15. James Watson, P16. Alex Van de Zandt, a little bit far back for him in P17. Kurt Kelly in P18. Timothy Roberts, P19. Jason Perdue, P20. Guy Petra, 21st. Jerry Fairkolb in 22nd. And rounding out our field is Ken Zoska in the 23rd position. So we'll get this thing running, and we'll also take our music down here. So what I'm going to say is tonight, let's hope that we don't have as many cautions as the last time I covered one of these Richmond races. So the very first race that I broadcast, or maybe it was the second race, league race anyway, was a Richmond race, and we had 19 cautions in that race. So let's hope we're not going to do that here. I think we'll have some cautions, but we're not going to have that many, I don't think. Looked relatively clean from what I saw of the practice session. Gonna have 2 laps here for everybody. So I was looking at statistics for IndyCar and Road to Indy type series. I don't think any Road to Indy actually ever came here, but IndyCar did run between 2001 and 2009 with the old Dallara chassis. Well, a couple of different old Dallara chassis there. Buddy Lazier was the first winner there. I'm gonna scream pretty loud there, Julian, so I wouldn't I wouldn't listen to me going to sleep there. I think there's better things for that. All right, well, Westshire there in P2. Oyson Walsh is going to bring us to the green. Mustang pace car going to bring us into turn 3. James Curtis there in P3. And pace car is going to duck in. Walsh is going to bring us to the green flag. And there it is. Go with a wide angle view here so we can see everything. And we are underway. So far, so good. And oh, as soon as I said it there, caution on the track. Let's see if we can figure out who this was. Looks like Graham into the wall back here. We'll get a replay of that queued up. Looks like he's still rolling, so far so good. So let's see. Okay, Graham loses it on his own, and a bystander there. Who is that? That might have been one of our newcomers. Walker. Let's see what he's got here. That did not look very good for Walker in his first race here. Flipped up on his lid, no fault of his own, just a little tap there, and this is why you don't see open wheel cars on these ovals as much as you used to. That was a tow, but I think he might be okay. All the wheels were attached on that one, but there was no way to get that back home. Got some cars coming down pit lane. That looks to be Graham, who had the spin there. 3 cars on pit lane. That would be Walker and Hale. Apparently part of that as well. Jasper's okay. Started P11 back to P20, so he might have had an issue, and checked up a little bit at the start of that. So we're running 53 minutes from the green flag, 50 minutes, just under 51 minutes to go. We're estimating about 175 laps if it did go green, but you know, we're going to have some caution here and there. Hopefully not as much as I said earlier when we broadcast the Richmond race. This is probably back in July or so, maybe August. We had 19 cautions in that one, Caution Fest. And unfortunately, Gary Gutso not able to join us here in the booth tonight. He had some technical difficulties, both with his iRacing setup to begin with, his steering wheel, and then plus with his computer. So he's sorting those kind of things out. Hopefully he'll be with us tomorrow for the Schaefer's Turbo Series and Cup races. He'll probably be racing in that, in the turbo race anyway. We'll be at Pocono tomorrow night. Lights off on the pace car, so we're going to be going back to green. Some Walsh going to bring us back to green here, so we'll see. One of Walsh race wins that he had earlier this season, he did not. And we come back to green. Did not have to pit ever. That was at North Wilkesboro that he won. I think we're going to have enough green that everybody's going to have to pit here. So far, so good. Everybody through. And Walsh is going to complete a green flag lap there. As the field spreads out, I'm going to try to figure out what is the best camera angle. Pretty far away, this one. This kind of shows the whole field, though. We have Get Jasper on the pit lane there. Not sure what's up with him, whether that is he brushed the wall or not. It looks like there could be a little bit of damage on that car. And we have a caution on the track. Okay. Van de Zandt part of that, but it didn't look like it was on him. Let's get a quick replay here. See if we can figure out what happened from Van de Zandt's viewpoint here. Okay, low car into the wall. And a couple other cars getting part of that as well. Really unfortunate there for Van de Zandt. But that's what kind of happens when you start in the back of the pack there. P-17 starting position. We'll go on board with him for another replay here. So that was the second caution of the night. I'm noting these. Number 27, that was Patrick Byrne, one of our newcomers tonight. He looked like he didn't take as bad of a hit as Alex did, though. But as we've seen in our other races we've covered, there's quite a bit of repairs that these cars can do. So Patrick Byrne just looks like he gets loose on the entry into turn 1. Loses the rear end of his car, and then Van de Zandt's just part of that. Kurt Kelly ends up part of that as well. Let's go back and do a quick rewind. So Kurt Kelly just loses it on his own, locks up the back tires, too much rear brake and into it, and Van de Zandt just gets another hit there. Tough break for him. Really tough break. Still on the pit lane, it looks like. So through all of this start shenanigans here, Owens has moved up from 5th to 3rd. Let's see, any other... Irvine has moved up, championship contenders here. Moved up a position. Kingsbury's moved up from 9th to 5th. So he's going to be one to watch here. And we're going back to green here. I can just see that there's a lot of aero wash on these cars, and Walsh here has set literally has set a half-second faster lap than anybody else, just because like Wes Shire here is in dirty air, and he's a half-second slower just because of that. I can give a shout out to Wes there. So Wes is always running this Homestead coffee livery. I ordered some of this Homestead coffee. I'm drinking it right now to keep me up during these caution periods, let's say. And this is some good stuff. So they're Homestead coffee out of Pennsylvania. Just look up Google Homestead Coffee Brewery and check them out. It's pretty good coffee. Chad Irvine has a different livery every single week. I can't tell what this one actually is, but it's some sort of meme car. I'm sure last week he had the Big Mac car. Simon fell back here. He's pretty good about keeping his livery pretty clean. Every week about the same thing. Even over on the IndyCar side, he's run some races, and it's actually a very similar livery even on those as well. As the pace car ducks back in, Oisin Walsh will bring us back to the green flag. So far, so good. I don't even want to jinx it, though, but because the action is in the back here, so we'll have a look here. We've got a caution. Jason Padu, slow on the course. Jasper's still on pit lane, so I don't know what his deal is there. See what happened to Padu here. So that was number 3 for the night. Oh, and we got another car spinning. Cold tires. These are custom setups that everybody has to create in this league, so not everybody coming into here with the same engineering expertise as I think Padu is crabbing his way around the track here. Really slow, and he's just ahead of the pace car. Gonna come down the pit lane. So we had 23 at the start. We're down to 16 cars have, from 16th and on, have pit. Byrne is okay there. Still out on the track. I think Padu's going to have a long... so we've lost about 5 cars here. Van de Zandt's still on the... Well, actually, he's coming out here now. He's 7 laps down. Has to wait for the lead lap cars to get by. .42 minutes to go. We've done about, what, 10, 11 laps? Is Walsh? No, he's not going to come down the pit lane. With the way we're running this is going to end up being a bunch of caution and no pit stop required by anybody. So I can read about some Richmond... So Buddy Lazier was the first winner of an IndyCar Richmond race. Back in AAA, this is like going back to the 1940s, there were a couple what they would consider IndyCar heritage anyway. Ted Horn and Tommy Hinnerschitz is his name. Both running for Ted Horn, and they're running Offenhauser engines. These are really short races, 20 and 25 lap races. The IndyCar races that ran here were 300K, 300 miles, or actually it would be 300K, 225 laps. So we've got a few people watching out there tonight. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button. We have a title sponsor coming on board with this league, and we'd like to give them all the support we can. And if you guys are liking the broadcast, even if it's just watching the pace car drive around, you get to listen to me ramble about stuff and talk to you guys. Let me know your favorite drivers that are in the field here. We've got some people that want my coffee. We've got some Faircold, Petra, and Soska fans out there. Got any Oisin Walsh fans or West Shire fans? Maybe a Jason Owen fan out here? His son might be watching. Maybe he's watching, and the biggest fan out there watching Jason here.
Green, green, green.
And that is the green flag. See if we can get this thing going here. Take it easy on these cold tires. Mostly want to watch the back of the grid here. Because that seems to be where the action's taking place. As Owen's going to go for that P2 spot over Shire. And the caution comes back out. But Jason made that move before anything else happened. We'll see here. What do we got? Let's see here. Who caused this here? Let's not see anybody really drop back all of a sudden there. Might have just been a spinner because I'm not seeing anything on my information here. I see one of our other broadcasters out there tonight in the National Racing Network. Yeah, you guys broadcast the Friday race. I was in that one, driving in the P2 car. Still trying to see if anybody... Everybody at the back of the grid seems okay. We'll go back a minute or so if we can just figure out what happened here. We were already under caution there. I think it might have been William Walker might have lost it on his own or something here. Let's see what we've got. Yep, just loses on his own, and Van de Zandt over here is having to dodge many cars out here tonight. Many, many cars. No problem there, Chris. It seems that the track is getting the best of quite a few drivers out here tonight. They might want to look at their tire pressures on the setups here and get those so that they can warm up as quick as possible. I know this new tire model, I mean, it's not new to these cars because this car came out with the new tire model, but the Indy car just released with the new tire model. It's been, it's been a month and a half now, but still getting used to the cold tires, and it really, on a road course, takes a couple laps to get really going with the tires. So I think that was the fourth caution. We might have missed one. I've got my numbers coming here, but we're gonna see if we can get some green flag running here for you folks out there. Looks like Chad Irvine made up a position through all that somewhere, made it up to 5th. Actually, let's see, Kingsbury has decided to pit. This is interesting tactic here, because I don't know if they're really gonna have to pit, and he's gonna have cold tires at the start of this restart. Like if everybody else is out here on tires that, you know, they're circulating around the track at slow speeds, at least they have a little bit of temperature in the tires still. But if like Kingsbury, anybody that's pitting, they're gonna have no tire heat in there. As we come back to green, Walsh brings us back. Kingsbury making up positions on Van de Zandt. Van de Zandt there, and that purple and white car. Obviously, he had damage early on. Oh, we've got another crash there. And there is our... That was a 2-car. That one does not look pretty, and that is why they have a halo coming soon on these cars. So that was Richard Hale. And another car. See if we can figure out who that other car was. As we come back to green, it looked like the 22, Timothy Roberts up there. Oh, yep. And they just go in and over the... Yeah, that is not a pretty accident there. The medical crew will be on that driver pretty quickly. But Kingsbury up to 14th. These cars that are a few laps down are just going to be picking up positions as all of this happens. Kingsbury's going to come back to the pits. Yeah, he's actually coming out of the pits now. I don't know if he... Yeah, he's thinking to warm those tires up, I think, there. So that was the 5th or 6th caution of the night. Just under 33 laps to go here. Wasn't enough time for any passing to happen on that last restart. I wonder if they might have the option of just going no cautions in these and make it like Dallara Dash or the Arca series. That could be an option. Might be pretty fun, honestly. But we'll let the admins of the league come up with those kind of decisions and not the broadcaster in the booth. Kevin Smalley getting a little bit of fuel, maybe some tires. We've completed 31 laps here, 31 minutes to go in the race, so estimating this out, we might not get to lap 100 if we keep having these cautions. But I think we're going to get to a period where we get all the cars that are have crashed out of the race, and then we're going to have a really long green flag run. That's usually what happens in these races. Lights are out on the pace cars, so we're going to be going back to green right here, at least momentarily. So, Oyson Walsh. Mustang pace car is going to bring us in here. And he brings us back to green. Curtis there looks like he's all over Wes Shire there for that third position. Keeping an eye on Kingsbury up here, going around a car. He's up to Soska. Soska is 4th position. Soska in that Tony Kanaan livery. You can see Kingsbury's setup just really works here. Looking really good. Let's go on board with Kingsbury here and have him take us around here. He's just moving through this field, slicing like a hot knife through butter. 2 cars ahead of him. That's Gamble and Watson. Gamble in the green car, Watson in the yellow. Kingsbury inside. He's going to take Watson as well and then move on to Gosler up here. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive showing here. That is, right there is a really good setup. You can see right there. His car is just working for him. And I know Kingsbury here and Irvine have been working together on setups in this league. I don't think they're not officially a team or anything like that, but they have been working together. So Shire has dropped back a couple spots. Irvine, that looked like Shire was really high coming off of turn 4 there. So now Kingsbury setting his sight on Simon Fell up there. And lap car going past. I'm going to go on board with Kingsbury once again. It looks like he's setting up for a good move momentarily on Fell. Trying to take the high side this time. His tires might have gone off ever so slightly. And that is for 6th position. Kingsbury is the highest placed car of cars that have pit. The next highest place of a car that's pit is Smalley in P11. He's coming up on Shire now. These positions are going to start to be a little bit more difficult as he gets closer to the front of the field. Already 7 seconds back from the leader. That's how much time you can lose in a short amount of time. So Curtis and Irvine have made it around Shire. Shire was in 3rd, started 2nd, drop back. Now Kingsbury's going to be looking inside on Kingsbury, or Shire is going to be passed by Kingsbury into turn 2. Shire went a little high on that entry. So far, so good. And then Irvine also gives up the position to Kingsbury. Kingsbury's slicing through this field. That's what we want to see. Mostly of whatever your favorite driver is, you want to see that from them. So now he's going to set his sight on Curtis, who's actually quite a bit ahead on the track, 20, 30 car lengths ahead, if we're talking about that kind of thing. Got some cars on pit lane. It's kind of like the awesome viewpoint. If you were a fan in the track, you could just see the entire course from up high up here. Not many courses you can do that at. Oh, we got a car coming out of the pit lane. That looks to be maybe Hale or... No, Hale's on pit lane. Trying to figure out who that is. Not Soska either. Anyway, our leader there so far, Walsh, starting to pass cars. He's got a 5-second lead over Owens in P2. Now Kingsbury's working on a lapped car. That is Curtis there in P3, so Kingsbury's about to be getting into that podium position. Right on that gearbox, dives low into turn 3. This car is just working like magic around here. It might not, Walsh's car probably working better, but we'll see what he can do. He's got the strategy. He's pit. If this goes green flag, I don't want to jinx something here. But if Walsh and Owens have to do a green flag stop, they're going to be toast over Kingsbury. And he just has to hope that these lap cars cooperate for Walsh and all these lead lap cars that are coming by. As we head just under 25 minutes to go in this race, we're halfway through. And now we're getting some green flag laps ticking down. Walsh navigates through lap traffic. Kingsbury is about 2.5 seconds back from Owens, so we'll see how that gap, if it comes down over the course of this run. It does appear that Kingsbury is faster, but there's lap traffic in here, so it's going to be really hard to tell. But last lap he was about 0.2 faster than Owens, as Curtis makes his way around lap traffic as well. Gamble's moved up from the P13 to 5th, so good setup there. Irvine is kind of dropping back through the field once again. The same with Shire here. Started P2, running 7th. Smalley's making some moves now as well. So Smalley has been one of the cars that pit to. Nobody else until 15th have pit. Whoa. That is Jasper into the wall. At least I think that was Jasper. Maybe it wasn't. That was somebody who was out there. It looked like Jasper. That might have been Irvine. Getting a replay right here is what this is. Showing Irvine in the pits. So I think he had some issue, either that or he's just gonna go with. Oh yeah, that is a big hit coming out of turn 2 there. So that is why he is in the pit lane. So our winner from last week in pit lane. Meanwhile, let's go back a little bit here. Kingsbury has a move on Owens coming up here for that second position. He's making up ground really quickly on these cars here. Owen struggles out of the final corner, and Kingsbury is going to make an easy move into turn 1. So going back to live pictures. So Kingsbury is back 6 seconds over Walsh. So we're going to have to see. I think it's going to come down. Kingsbury's was 0.3 faster on that last lap. That is a lot of ground to make up, though, but if we go green, it's going to be really easy to make that up. Kingsbury's just putting on a clinic here. Honestly, this is the best racing that we've seen. Oh, we've got a car spinning. Oh, in front of Kingsbury as well there. That's not what you want to see. But this should be really interesting strategies here. Walsh is probably going to have to pit. And will Kingsbury stay out? We might have just seen what fresh tires can do there with Kingsbury, so... If these guys want to win this championship, they're going to have to take, they're going to have to use some strategy to take that win away from Walsh here. So Walsh is coming down pit lane. Other cars are going to stay out. Let's see what Kingsbury does. Kingsbury is going to opt for the pit. Walsh obviously going to pit too. Smalley might stay out. Smalley is going to stay out and take the lead here. So that's the kind of strategy I'm really curious to see. Anybody else going to stay out here? I don't think so, because everybody has not pit, so. See, Soska's not pitting, unless he's opting to pit later. So I think Kingsbury, Owens got around Kingsbury in the pits there. As we head to just about 20 minutes to go, hopefully this is not a case of cautions breeding more cautions. I think this is the 6th or 7th caution we've had tonight. Lost track somewhere in there. So Kevin Smalley, our leader, got a lapped car in front of him. Who is that? That is Timothy Roberts. So he was one of the cars. He's going to opt to take the pit. He had pit earlier in the race as well, and I wasn't sure who it was, but that's who it was, Timothy Roberts. Yeah, I think that's Owens probably. Let's look at times here. Yeah, so Walsh and Kingsbury both had 6.6 and 6.7 second laps. Pit stops. Jason Owens had only a 4.6 second pit stop, so I'm going to assume he did not take tires on that one. Gamble at a 7.5, slowest pit stop of the bunch. Soska had a 8.1. So I think Smalley here is going to hope for a little bit more caution, I think, and get him to the end. I don't think it'll be that much that he needs, though, because he has pit in this race. Yeah, I don't know about that strategy for Owens. Because we saw that Kingsbury kind of just passed him pretty easily, and that'll be the same set of tires. I would have taken tires if I was Owens. I mean, you want to get to the end of the race, right? You don't want to spin out and crash on old tires. So it's gonna be really interesting here on this restart. Smalley at the lead. Walsh is gonna have to make a pass on somebody for this lead position. Although we've seen that he's had pretty much the best car out here, but Smalley does have warmer tires. So this could be interesting. Smalley brings us to the green flag. And we hope that everybody can make it through here, as Walsh going for that first place position on Smalley. Owens also on warmer tires as well, because he didn't change them. Kingsbury is going to have to wait for these tires to warm up a little bit. But we saw him on that last restart, how good he was able to slice through this field on new tires. I'm going to go on board. We've basically got the Spark VR in-car cam here this week for Kingsbury here, because that's who we're going on board with. Mr. Excitement in this race. He's just banging it up against that limiter. No shifting from gear 5 as he sets his sight on Owens there in P2. Through turns 3 and 4. Yeah, he's just banging up against that limiter. No, I guess he just doesn't care about shifting. And these guys are really going hard on these laps. Good for Owens up here, though, keeping those tires underneath them. Those are old tires. Oh, Kingsbury just slid up the track just ever so slightly. So unfortunately, Irvine, our winner from last week, still on the pit lane. Trying to look through if other good battles. So Simon Fell working on Watson for P9. I guess Ray has to imagine that these cars, you know, they're road to Indy car, so they don't really stress the engine all that much. So he's got plenty of room to bang up against that limiter and not cause any engine damage or anything like that. As we have 15 minutes to go in this timed race here in the Tuesday Night Thunder Richmond Raceway. Next week we'll be at Iowa for another 53-minute race. Kingsbury's working on Owens here. It looks like he's gapped, or you know, just a little bit. He's a little bit closer this lap than he has been. Try some other onboards here. Something like this. Maybe the other one. There we go. From the left front suspension. Can't get this one in real life. Got a lapped car there. That is... Whoa, that was some last minute maneuvering there. That was Timothy Roberts. And Kingsbury's going to dive inside of Owens there and take over the P2 spot. Now he's going to set his sights on Walsh up there for P1. So at least we can say that Walsh did not lead every lap in this race, though, because we had Smalley lead some laps. And we've got caution. Unfortunately, it looks like Simon Fell bringing out this caution. Let's have a look and see what we can find out. Looks like a single car spin. He was working on Watson up there. This is for P9. We started P6. And he just loses it in turn 4. So that's what... Oh, when he slams it hard into the wall. Oh, ho, ho, ho. There was some good evasive action by everybody out there. And that was unfortunate for Bell there. So everybody is pit. Fell's going to be on the pit lane. I don't think anybody else is going to opt for a pit now. Everybody can make it. 12 minutes to go. We're going to have a really good restart here, though, between Kingsbury's finally going to be P2, and we're going to see if he can take it to Walsh. I guess I should build that up, but we know that Walsh is really strong in these races. So I'm going to be a realist here and think that Walsh really has the best car out here. He's kind of the setup guru in these cars, but if anybody can take it to him, it will be Kingsbury. So in about 11 minutes, I would say we can do about 40 laps at this track in that amount of time. 35 to 40. Lights are still on the pace car. Want to get this thing back under green as soon as possible. See if we get the lights out on the pace car this time. No, we're going to be out of here for a couple more laps, it looks like. Hey, just a shout out to everybody. Thanks for watching here tonight. Going to be running next week. Will be Tuesday Night Thunder. Will be at Iowa. Tomorrow night we will be running a doubleheader at Pocono. First in the Schaefer's Turbo Series. This is IndyCar. Doubleheader at Pocono. Schaefer's Turbo Series, that's a shorter race. We're running about 50 laps. I'd have to double check the schedule, but it'll be about 50 laps and then maybe 40 laps though. But then in the Pro Cup, we'll be running 80 laps at Pocono. It'd be Pocono Legacy 2, so the bumpy version with the Arbor Vitae pine trees on the back straightaway, rather than catch fencing for the cars to head into if they so choose. And then on Thursday, we run the BMW sports cars. We'll be at Road Atlanta this week on Thursday. Got some Ken Soska fans there. He's started last, P23, is up to 8th. So a really good run for him. Jerry's Fairkolb's there in 15th. Unfortunately, he is out of the race. I'm going to go on board with Kingsbury at this restart and see what we have. Pace car ducks in, and Walsh just goes. Into turn 1. If Kingsbury, wow, you could really see Kingsbury just drop back there. I don't know if that was old tires or Arrow Wash compared to Walsh up there. Arrow Walsh up there. Owens back there in P3, not really pressuring Kingsbury too much there. Smalley's putting some pressure on Owens though. Right on that gearbox of Owens. So Owens on those older tires is going to want to get that podium position so we can get an interview of him. Have not had a chance to interview him so far this season. There was some sparks up there. I don't know who that was coming from. Might have been Fell. And Fell opts to take the inside line to let the leaders get around here. Now Owen's going to have to get around the lapped car, Smalley as well. Curtis dropping back a couple positions here. Soska's in 6th now. Heck of a run for Soska there. So Kingsbury's dropped back about 1 1/4 seconds from Walsh up there. Just going to be for Walsh, it's just going to be how he gets around this lap cars. But there aren't too many lap cars left at this point. Curtis is about 4/10 back from Smalley. Smalley's about 6/10 back from Owens, so Owens is gapped up a little bit there. Walsh here, last lap wasn't his fastest, but it almost matched his fastest lap of the race, so he's setting some real flyers at the moment. Curtis has moved up 2/10 back from Smalley. Although right when I said that, I went up to 4/10, so he lost a little bit through a corner there. Gamble back here in P8's working on Shire for P7. Only 3/10 back there. Let's go on board. We've been only on board with Kingsbury so far this race. Let's go on with Gamble here. He lost a little bit there. I don't know if it was related to the rev limiter or something, because he sounded like he stayed in gear a lot longer than he should have. Kingsbury just set the fastest lap of the race. He's just moved kind of out of the Walsh's aero wash, so that's probably why he was able to do it. But yeah, let's go on board with Kingsbury again. You can't even see Walsh up there in the corner. He's the next car up there, though. That's how far he's gapped. And there's 10 or so laps, 15 laps maybe since the green flag came down. Kingsbury is running faster laps than Walsh, but it's really little bit, as he had to get out of it just a little bit there in turn 2. There's a big bump over there in turn 2. Really throws away a car of this light, throws it around. So Curtis, Smalley got around Owens up there. This is a battle really for a third spot. Let's go on board with Curtis here in this Surge car. James Curtis there in P5. Owens trying to get back around Smalley for P3. Keep an eye on that battle for the lead. It has not come down, so we're going to keep an eye on this battle. Owens wanting to get back on the podium here so we can get an interview with him, our league admin here. He's really trying. So Owens was on older tires than anybody else out here, but he's keeping them going here. He's able to go lower than Smalley in these corners. Really diving though, taking it high on the straightaway here. Right down to that yellow line. Heck of a battle here. Go on board with Owens here. Riley Children's Hospital car. Extra Life. That's on his Twitch channel as well. He's always been a big sponsor, a big supporter of that charity. Ooh, and you can see Smalley just get a little bit of loose coming off of turn 2 there. And Owens gaps just a little bit as they come up to lap traffic up here. Gonna cause some aero wash kind of issues. You can hear Owens banging up against that limiter there as well. Lap car gets out of the way. Owens just needs to keep applying this pressure to Smalley up there, get him into a mistake, and take advantage of that. Back in the 6th or 7th position, Soska is being worked on by Shire there in the P7 position. Soska in P6, as we have under 2 minutes to go in this race. And we'll come down to our final lap here momentarily, about a minute and a half from now, as Curtis dives low on Owens there. Will he make it work? Owens might have a better run off of the corner there. Side by side into turn 1 they go. Owens comes back strong on the high side there, making that work. And we have caution. That's going to end our race right there. Who do we have? Looks like Gosler winding up in the inside barrier there. So you get a replay here. Oh, he just gets a twitch, several twitches. Oh man, that was a big hit, and Gamble had to take evasive action as well as some other cars, but you can see the leader coming up too. Man, that was a big hit by Gosler. He had to catch that one several times, and by the third or fourth time it happened, he couldn't get it anymore. Let's get another replay of this. Actually, let's go on board with him. That was a heck of a attempt of a save by Gosler there. Gets high, say, twitch, 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 and oh, that one was just too much for him there. Okay. So that caution is going to rob us from a green flag finish, but Walsh really dominating out here tonight. Kingsbury and P2 really put on a show for us. Owens is not going to get his chance for a podium here, but Smalley's going to be up here with us, and we'll get... well, we haven't actually done the checkers yet, but we'll get our podium finishers here in the booth momentarily. Thanks everybody for watching out there tonight. See Hendrick from our BMW series, Thursday night series out there watching the race. Good for him, good of him to be out here watching. Like some transplants in these series, you know, people that watch or drive in one series will watch another series. So Walsh comes across the start finish line and is victorious. We'll get an interview with him momentarily. No donuts from Walsh here, so we will be right back. We'll get our podium interviews going. So we're back, but I don't have anybody in the booth here to interview, so I don't know what the deal is there. We'll see if anybody, we'll hang around a bit and see if anybody comes around. Yeah, congratulations to Walsh here, putting on another great show. Drive of the day was Kingsbury, though, coming from P9. There we go, we got Walsh coming up in here. Hey, Oysen, I've got you up in the booth. This is Matt.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Tell us about your race. You were really fast.
Yeah, pretty much just took the set from Richmond in 2020 season 4. Put some downforce on it, kind of out of fear, really. I think that actually made it worse because it almost killed me overheating the right front in the first run, or the right rear in the first run. So I had to start driving really differently in one, especially to just try and get heat into the right front, so that long run I wasn't backwards in a wall. But other than that, pretty much handled perfectly. Probably had a bit too much downforce on it, but I mean that's not really something to complain about because it probably may be better in traffic. And then yeah, was considering trying the fuel saving thing with as many cautions as we got in the start, like I did at North Wilkesboro, and just not pitting. But then
Yeah.
we ended up getting some green runs, so I had to finally make the stop. But yeah, new tires never hurt anyone.
Yeah. Tell me about. Do you ever run the IndyCar by any chance on ovals?
I used to. I don't ever really dabble in the setup with it.
Okay. I was just
I
curious.
run the stock cars on oval. Really, I'm on a Coke Series team for that, so that's where
Okay.
the oval comes from.
Yeah, I was just curious about because there's no in-car tools for this car to adjust really much when you have that right rear tire overheating. It's more based on your own pedal and then maybe your line on the track. Over in the Indy car, you can at least like adjust things. If you're understeering or you're oversteering. A little bit anyway you can adjust, but you have to do that all through your steering in these cars. So that's good on you for getting through this race with any struggles and burning up that right rear that you had.
Yeah, I think coming from the Cup car, especially before before the downforce got put onto it. I think the habits you learn there or in a really loose setup in the stock cars does help if you need to save the right rear. Just because I mean, you know how not to slide it, you know
Yeah.
how much in the wheel, that kind of thing, even for saving the right front too. Whereas the IndyCar, if you are too tight, too loose, you just throw some weight jacker in it, and it's most likely fine. Or use the
Yeah.
ARBs. Whereas just having the tire pressure and obviously like not wanting because with the current tire model, minimum tire pressures is the fastest, so you don't really want to change it unless you are absolutely desperate to not crash.
Well, it sounds like you've got it really covered on the setup there. So next week is Iowa. I know we missed you last week. You had some mechanical issues, what do we call it, with your steering wheel, right? But any thoughts going into Iowa?
I've never run it in a car like this. I've run it in the IndyCar, and in the Xfinity car, but never in anything like this. Never built the set for it, so I imagine it'll be pretty high speed, especially if it's at night. And then, yeah, I asked you in the race there in the voice chat. Somebody said it wouldn't be a pack race, so I'll look forward to that. Because if it isn't, then I think it should be a genuinely good race. You'll be able to pass, but it won't be 28 cars piled on top of each other, crashing into each other.
Yeah, I guess you missed out on that last week at Bristol. It was a bit of a pack race, but hold to the white line as well as you could anyway. But yeah, good run here tonight, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks. See ya.
Yep, see ya. Hey, Kevin. Matt up here in the booth. I'm sorry to cut you off if you're in the mid-conversation there.
Well, I think I'm going to be repeating it here anyway, so it's good.
Well,
Hey,
congratulations on P3. You had to pass some cars because at some point you were back to about ninth or so after you kind of pit early for your fuel, and then you stayed out and led some laps there. But yeah, tell us about your race.
Yeah, so I actually had an end of line penalty from last week. I had some frame rate issues and tapped somebody, and unfortunately collected somebody. So I had a end of line penalty to start today, and so that put me on a different strategy. At least I thought I'd try a different strategy, and I thought pretty early on, if we have at least one more caution, I'll be close, and if we have two, then I should be good if I pit from that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was in probably like 11th place or something like that at that point in time, and then went to the back of the line again on that early pit, and got a little nervous there. If we didn't have that last flag at the yellow, I think I might have been down to 0.1 gallons. I don't have a live calculator, but it was close. I had 0.4 when the yellow came out.
Well, you made it. You finished on the podium, and I'm looking at the points here. It looks like you're going to be moving up to third in points. So good run there, good points. Next week, we're going to be heading to Iowa. Any thoughts going into there?
I hope I'm there. I might have a newborn girl, so we'll see. One of these weeks, there's a good chance I'm going to be missing, but we'll see.
Well, congratulations there. I do think we have a drop week somewhere.
Yeah, we've got at least one.
Yeah.
In fact, ahead of the season, I was thinking, well, I'll be a fill-in driver because I don't think I'll be able to, commit to, fill in a spot with a newborn on the way. But it's going well enough. I think I might put officials to the side and prioritize this as my limited iRacing.
Well, you'll have to discuss that with your significant other, whether that's allowed or not. But see how that goes. And we hope to see you next week. But if we don't, congratulations. And we'll see you sometime soon otherwise. Hey, any shout outs? Anybody watching? Any sponsors you have?
Nothing in particular. Thanks for everybody that's tuning into the broadcast and supporting us. I know it was a rough start here today, but I think we finished pretty strong for a show. So hopefully people stuck around, and it's good to see you. Thanks for your broadcast here, and thanks for Jason for hosting the league and adminning it.
That's right. Well, we'll see you. Congratulations again on that P3.
Thanks a bunch.
Yep. All right, so that is our race for the night. So we've got the grid up there. I'll do the final results there. I'll do a final run through of the results here, and then we'll see you guys next week, or some of you guys we're going to see tomorrow night. Oyson Walsh there in P1. Good finish by him. Ray Kingsbury in P2. Really the car to watch all race was Kingsbury. Kevin Smalley, P3. Jason Owens, P4. James Curtis, P5. Ken Soska, P6. Wes Shire, P7. Robert Gamble, P8. James Watson, P9. Guy Petra, P10. Mike Gossler, P11. Kurt Kelly, P12. Simon Fell, P13. Timothy Roberts, P14. Jerry Fairkolb in P15. Chad Irvine in P16, and this is where my overlay messes up a little bit. Richard Hale in P17, Alex Van Zant P18, Patrick Byrne P19, Jason Perdue P20, J. William Walker in P21, Christian Jasper in P22, and Christopher Graham winding out our field in P23. So we'll see you, anybody watching tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. For the Schaefer's Turbo Series, and at 9:30 the Schaefer's Cup. So we'll hopefully have Gary up here in the booth for that one once again. So yeah, take care, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell if you haven't already, and we'll see you then.
You're blind. You're trying to escape from here, aren't you? I want to see how far you can make it before your head is chopped off.